Well, hey there once again, Wildcat fans. How are things? Hopefully well. Welcome back, another LC Coaches Show. I am Brad Wilburn, as you can see, and joining me to my left, another week. I know we had a week off last week, craziness, but Bobby is back. Bobby Buchanan, our softball coach, as we talk about a whole slew of games. We had 6 games played between now and the last time we talked. 3 against Ozarks, and then 3 against UT Dallas. That was rescheduled from 2 weeks ago, and they finally got to play them. So let's talk a little bit about all of those. I guess as a whole, maybe not individual games and things like that. But and I know I got a chance to talk to you after that Friday, I believe it was last Friday, whenever you guys played Ozarks.
Yep.
And got the first 2 wins of the season, first 2 wins of the conference year. But also for you, first 2 wins of your head coaching career. So, and it was like right after I got a chance to talk to you and say how you thought about it, how you felt about it. But now that you've had a few days and had a couple more wins since then, what are your thoughts looking back on your first win as a head coach?
It was great, and this team is the one that I wanted to be with. I wouldn't trade them for anyone. And I always try to emphasize that it was our win. It wasn't my first win. It was our first win, and it was good to finally get that underneath our belt and get some momentum going.
Yeah. So talk a little bit more about that Ozark series in particular. A big one for several reasons. We got 3 wins, 3 conference wins, first home series of the year, and like you said in the interview we did post game, finally kind of look like what we've come to expect to know from Louisiana college softball.
Yeah, 3 of our 4 pitchers pitched, and all 3 of those pitchers got a win. Savannah Settle, 11 strikeouts. Cam was 7. I think Lucy had 3.
Mm-hmm.
Cam pitched, she got her first start,
yeah,
and pitched a complete game shutout, which is huge. Briley Johnston, I think, had like 14. Or she had 10 stolen bases that week. I mean, she had a bunch, maybe 8, something like that. Yeah. But we were aggressive on the base path, and we were hitting well, and didn't make a lot of errors. And our game's a high-level game of catch and throw. The people who throw the ball better and catch the ball better typically win.
Yeah. So definitely, and it was kind of one of those things we talked about in that long break between Millsaps and finally getting some games back on the field. That you guys are working on what you thought was the mental side is why we made so many errors and didn't hit as well in that opening Millsap series, but seemed to kind of figure it out over the past 6 games.
Absolutely, and I think our confidence is at an all-time high. I think that our chemistry is at an all-time high. And so those mental mistakes, because we can trust each other, we know we're going to be there for the cutoff. We know we're going to get that ball. We know we're going to do whatever it takes to make the play. And so when you have that trust in your team, I think that handles a lot of those mental issues.
Right.
So
talk a little bit about the Dallas series, one that was rescheduled from a couple weeks ago, played on Monday and Tuesday of this week. You took 1 out of 3 from them, which, anytime you take a game against the defending conference champion is always good, but, very close games throughout.
Yeah.
Opportunities there towards the latter end of those 2 losses to, get one key hit and, you're tied with them or going into extra innings perhaps, but played them very close throughout all 3 games.
Absolutely. And, I tell this to our team all the time, not one hit, not one pitch, not one run ever really determines the game. It's a combination of everything that happens throughout that game, and there's some instances that seem like they're more, I guess, are relevant or prevalent or whatever you want to say, but it really comes down to a collective group effort, and we played them very competitively, and I'm proud of them for that. But I'm still not satisfied with 2 losses. I know they're a perennial powerhouse, and I know Corey Hill's a great coach, but we're a great team as well, and so it's tough because I think we should have gotten those other games as well. But I think it's making us better, and we're catching our stride, and I think by the last day, come May, we're gonna see the results. So.
All right, well, moving into a little bit about this week, you guys got another ASC series coming up this weekend, heading over to Longview to play Laterno. And I think it's a doubleheader on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. One of the days is a doubleheader, obviously. But and we'll have links for all the coverage provided by Laterno on our website as well. But what can you tell us about the Yellow Jackets this year? I know they've kind of struggled over the past couple years, and we've had some success against them because of that. So I assume they're a little bit better this year as well.
Yeah, and for the most part, a lot of the people in our conference are getting better. I know they've had a pretty rocky start. I think they're like 1-5 right now. But we definitely aren't going to take them for granted. I think they're a team that can kind of sneak up on you. And right now, the way our energy level is, I think we're hopefully going to pounce on them right away and kind of take control of the game right away and take momentum into our hands. And they're a team, in my opinion, that once momentum starts shifting, they're able to pick it back up, right. and they keep fighting and keep clawing in games. And so teams like that, you just got to be careful with. So
you mentioned earlier that you felt like the team is in a good spot as far as momentum. Especially getting that win in Game 3 against Dallas, but also playing them closely throughout, and being right there. Do you think that's going to help you even more so coming into this Laterno series? That we just need to continue playing like we played this past 6 games or so.
Absolutely. I think that even though we didn't get those wins, competing with UT Dallas and who they are, I think was even some momentum boost there, and I think that's why we were able to get that last win was because of how competitive we were playing. And so I think going into Laterno, it's going to help us and be beneficial. And one thing that's kind of a struggle right now is trying to find out who to put in the lineup, and not necessarily because that everyone's doing bad. It's actually because so many people are doing so great, and we have a lot of big bats this year, and so I'm struggling in that sense, but it's a good problem to have. It's not a bad problem. So
when you can bring like a Caitlin Moore come off the bench, get a big hit in that game.
Yeah.
Taylor Hammock hadn't started as many games this year. Comes in, has 3 RBIs in the win. So you got more than 9 to fill.
Yeah,
it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, man.
All right, well, there you go, folks. Another conversation with Bobby T. Again, the links for the stream and everything, stats and everything will be available on our website, courtesy of Laterno. So be sure to check and make your schedules to watch those and keep up with those games over this weekend. And, of course, the Wildcats will be back at home next week, right?
Yep.
Hardin-Simmons, I believe. So we'll get to that whenever we cross that bridge. But thanks again for joining us this week. I'm Brad for Bobby. We'll see you next time.